Hey guys, welcome back to Casual Card Gaming. This is Carlos here with Mario and his Orange Adaptive Mastery. So Mario, why don't you tell us a little bit about your deck?
Yeah, Yamcha, you just sit on one for most of the game. Control the physical decks with the hit ability and your blocks. And then, mill them out for damage. Try to keep yourself alive. And then with Yamcha, his name cards, try and dictate how combat is going to be, whether long or short. So, the Adaptive Mastery, Yamcha stack, pretty good. I think they're a good combination. They complement each other pretty well. So that's my reasoning for putting them in there. So we'll start with the allies. I run Roshi, just the Roshi. You need him against all of the black decks out there with Searching Technique, Scouting Technique. With Cell, you start off his Leaping Kicks in Restored. It's just really good to help yourself play clean against your opponent. So yeah, that's why I run it. Ball 6 to help prevent the stage lock. PUR of 3, so on level 1 your PUR is 5. That's ridiculous. I thought you needed it. A lot of decks don't run it, but I do. Setups. We got one Heroic Assistance because I only have one copy. And it's pretty done with Yamcha. Gaining 2 stages, you put a physical combat, energy combat, or an event on the top, and then you can shuffle it in, but you also could choose not to. A lot of the times I won't shuffle it in just to leave the card on top and combo piece. Then you have 2 VTPs. VTPs, you need it almost every deck. 3 Yamcha's Expert Assistance. So with Assistance, it's great to dictate combat. If you're at 0 stages, you can play it from your hand, which is amazing. So it's really not even a dead draw. You draw a card, and then they have to pass for the next 2 actions. So going back to what I was saying about Heroic Assistance, you could put a card on top and then use Yamcha's Assistance to draw that card, deal him some damage, and then get out of combat. So next we have the drills. I have 1 Aura drill. You need 2. I just don't have it for space because I don't have the second copy, but it's great. It makes Yamcha's level 1 5 life, and it pushes a lot of damage out. 2 Hiding drill. You need it to mitigate damage with Cell, Sinister Choke, Disc, very heavy energy meta, very heavy life card damage meta. You kind of need 2 copies of it. This is great. Orange Empower drill, Endurance 2. It's a great drill, really underplayed. A lot of people don't run it. Your PUR being +1, and then on top of that, it's discard pile control. So you mill the bottom 3 of the discard pile every turn. It's really good against Red Ruthless, Cell Restored, or any Namekian Mastery for that matter. Good against Yamcha, his level 2. You take away targets for him to pick, so I think it's a good card. A lot of people should run it. 1 Steady and 1 Burning Aura. They're pretty much a given in every orange deck. You need to have these. These help a lot. It almost essentially takes away 1 card from your opponent's hand every combat. So very strong when you get them online. Energy Phasing Drill. It's your basically ticket to field removal. You can have any one of your attacks deal -2 life, and then you just start popping all of your opponent's setups of drills. So it's really great against the mirror match, really great against anything that wants to build a board. It's a really good counterplay to Villainous Visage because you can have any one of your attacks deal -2. You determine whether it's successful first. So you pop the Visage, and then you deal them the damage. And then the Focusing, because you need a way to protect your drills when they're really essential. I only run 1 because I don't have space, but yeah, that's the drill package. So very small drill package. You want to try and stay in combat. This deck really needs to stay in combat. So going to events, got time, it's a staple. You need to have it. I run 2 Enhanced Reflex. Enhanced Reflex to stop the Krillin. Also, since Orange doesn't have an Omni block, it's kind of like your substitute for that.
Well, not yet at least.
Well, not yet, yeah. But you do kind of need it. It's really good against the name cards. I mean, having to banish 1 from the top of your life deck sucks, but I mean, you have to do it. Then you have the 3 Confrontation.
Okay.
So Confrontation, I think it's a great card. A lot of people don't like Confrontation because it puts the card back in, but given with certain matchups, you kind of want to put the card back in the deck rather than discard pile. Against if your opponent has a VTP on the field, it kind of helps to get away with putting the card back rather than putting it in the discard pile, and then you know they can VTP it.
It's pretty useful against Ruthless too, huh?
Yeah, against Ruthless, it does the work. You pick the card that you don't want to get hit with. Orange Inspection, I run 2 of it. You destroy a setup or drill, you draw a card. It's ridiculous. Field control. You need it. Then I run 3 Orange Gathering. This card is just dumb with a combo piece. You gain 5 stages, and then if your MP is Yamcha, Tien, Yajirobe, or Chaozu, you get to look at the top 5 cards of your life deck, and you put them back in any order, and then you draw a card. So this is just ridiculous. It prevents the stage lock, gets you the card that you want, that you need, and it's just dumb. I don't even know why they made that card, to be honest. So that was the events. Now going on to physical and energy combats. We'll start with the physicals. I run 3 Playful Punch. Playful Punch, 5 stages. There's a lot of stage gain in this deck, which is something that's really, really good. Energy-based decks really do need a lot of stage gain. So this is 5 stages if you choose to play it. When you choose not to play it, it's just an extra block for freestyle attacks. So it'll stop Cell, level 1 and 3. Any personality that has an attack, any freestyle attacks, there's a lot of freestyle attacks running around the meta, so good counterplay. And if you do play, it's a physical for 3 life, you lower your anger, and you gain 5 stages. With Yamcha, it's a given. You gotta run Yamcha's Rescue. It's dumb. It's a recyclable Omni block, Endurance 1, it can end a combat. It's just, you gotta run it with Yamcha. Then, more blocks. You have 2 orange Refocus, Endurance 1, which is great. Picking a drill in the discard pile, putting it in play, so if they pop a drill, you can always pick one back. It's great outlet. Quick Dodge. Physical matchups are really bad for any energy-based deck, so I run 5 physical blocks, and gaining the 5 stages, preventing 1 stage is really, really great. So you really do need it. It doesn't do anything against Turles, unfortunately, but it does give you a buffer of 5 stages. So it goes pretty well in the deck, in the general theme. So now going to energies. So let's start with the blocks. 3 energy absorption. Endurance 1. The only thing I don't like is that it's a banish after use, so you're almost never given a second chance to get it back. Because if it's milled from the top of your life deck, you're probably going to use it for endurance, and then when you play it, you have to banish it. But gaining 5 stages is great. It's exactly what you need. And you gain an anger, which is neat, but I mean, you don't really level in this build. You just kind of camp on 1. But again, you need the stages. So going on to attacks, we run 2 blinding. Blinding energy move is ridiculous. It's a dumb card. The only thing that sucks about it is you gotta banish the top 2, but who cares? You can enter in a combat, throw this out, and then end the combat. Your opponent gets super upset, super mad. It sucks for them, but it's great that you run it. 2 Crushing Beam. It's a great card. It's ridiculous. Probably the best hero card that we've gotten in a long time, other than like Sphere, obviously. But it's a ridiculous attack for 6, 7 with the mastery. You banish all the damage and then it shuffles back in. Endurance 2 is just great. So it's a really great card. I only have 2 because I can't find a space for the 3rd, but if I could, I probably would. 3 overpowering, because we run the Roshi. Roshi is essential against Cell. Against 20, it's also pretty needed, because 20 likes to sit on 1 and then just set up the field. So you kind of need the overpowering to run with an ally. And it's decent damage, so that's why I run I run 3 Optic Blast. Ball 7 is really big. I don't think I've seen many decks that don't run a Ball 7 at the very minimum. You have it for a target for your Ball 6 in the event that your Ball 6 gets captured. Endurance 2 is awesome. And then 7 life with a Mastery is just ridiculous. And if you cap a ball, I mean, you can always crit, have a fail crit for anger, and then cap a ball to deal an extra 3 damage. So, great card. Orange Stare Down, it's staple. You need to run it. If I could run 6, I'd run 6. It's ridiculous. One of the reasons why I put Yamcha in here is because you don't really have, in blue, protective, you don't really have an energy that does the same thing as orange Stare Down. In black, you also don't have that. So orange Stare Down is really great. One of the reasons why I wanted to put him in there. PowerPoint, orange PowerPoint, ridiculous card. Endurance for 3, like holy cow. And then a ton of damage output. The search mechanic with Roshi, there's kind of like, lack of synergy there, but you could always, deal a ton of damage. And then if it ever hits and you don't have Roshi out, you can, search out a drill, whatever drill you need, and you place it into play. So, great card. Great card. And the last attack, Pesky Barrage. Ridiculous card. I don't know who made this, and whoever did clearly did not think things through to make it an uncommon card. Unfortunately, fortunately, it's heroes only, and you gotta basically
with sell on the artwork.
Yeah, with sell on the artwork. Disgusting. So basically, it's 2 stages for 5-6 life cards of damage with the Mastery. And it stays in play to be used a second time. You also lower your opponent's anger 1 level. This card has won a lot of games for me, where you just throw it out towards the end of the game, where you're kind of running out of attacks, you're running out of options, and you just throw this out. It stays in play to be used a second time. You have a lot of stage gain in the deck inherently, so you almost never find yourself out of stages to not pay for it. So if you throw 2 of them out in one combat, it really does get nasty for the opponent. And that's it for attacks. That's basically the deck. Yeah.
All right, Mario. So before you played Orange Yamcha, what were you playing?
Orange 20.
So you passed up on Orange 20. It was a deck that you did like.
Yep.
And you decided to change to Orange Yamcha because you thought it would be something that would kind of switch up, kind of keep a similar play style, but be able to play a little bit different.
Yeah. I liked 20. My biggest problem with 20 was constantly checking all of your drills and ongoing abilities. The other thing I did not like about 20 is that he's super strong late game, but he's super susceptible to the bad combats early game. Given that, he can search out some of your drills, but with all the drills that you run in orange, plus the freestyle drills, it's just, it kind of sucks if you get taken down early on with like a red Ruthless, any kind of aggro build, which a lot of builds like to capitalize on the early game attack. And now with the meta with Cell running around, I don't think 20 would have done enough work. I also liked Yamcha paired with the Orange Mastery because I thought playing with Orange is inherently susceptible to bad combats early, and Yamcha giving you combat control can take away that weakness, that flaw, so it strengthens the Mastery. He does that with, you could do that with his name cards and then Blinding Energy move as an additional measure. So 8 cards that let you end combat.
Right, so Yamcha's a stay-and-play kind of personality.
Yeah, he can stay and play, he can end combat. He's a combat dictator, which is why I really like it. The only thing I don't like about this build is that you don't get to take advantage of his higher levels. His level 2 search mechanic is ridiculous. His level 3 is just insane for an energy beatdown. And level 4 is just like, don't ever let your opponent hit level 4 Yamcha.
So then the good thing is that because you are an orange adaptive, if you were to get clashed, you wouldn't lose your drills.
Yeah, there's nothing to lose by getting leveled. Your opponent levels you, great. I can now cycle out Orange Stare Down, PowerPoints. Before this build that I have now, I was running a different build where it was more control oriented. I ran Devouring, I ran more drills to help me level. And
then we played Cell.
And then we played Cell, and we realized why you can't control as well against Cell. Which sucks, but you got to do it. You got to change your measures. Dandrill with Yamcha, one of the reasons why I don't run the Dandrill is because of Roshi. If I have Roshi in play, then Dandrill counteracts. Orange Precise Shot was another card I used to run with Yamcha, and I would just sit on 2 and cycle it back. The problem is that if you get played against another MP that, for example, if somebody else runs the Roshi ally, that sucks for you. Against Cell, it doesn't really do anything either. So I kind of had to cut my losses and decide that I was going to make it more combat oriented and just camp on 1. He shuts down physical beatdown decks entirely, which is great. And there's less endurance in this build than there was in the previous build, but in this build there's more block outlet. So, and there's more attacks. So that's what I ended up doing.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for sharing your deck, even though you're already a part of the group. And awesome. So thank you guys for checking us out. This has been our first deck tech with Mario's Orange Adaptive Yamcha. And find out what happens next on CCG.